What's up? It's your boy, Corey B.
Hi, guys. Hi.
Boys are right here in the background. So check this out. It is New Year's Eve, right? It's 10 o'clock. It is 10 o'clock on New Year's Eve. My boys are over here playing Minecraft. Kimberly, she had to work tonight. It was unfortunate. But, you know, it's the nature of the work. There's always sick people, there's always...
That's the great thing.
There's always people that are sick. There's always people in need of care. And healthcare is something that unfortunately... it's a give and a take. Unfortunately, for those who have to work it, somebody's got to work on the holidays. And for those who need healthcare, obviously it's fortunate that we are in a position to have people who can care for you, Kimberly's an incredible nurse and really great at what she does. And we're very blessed to have her skill set, have her heart, have her mindset, the way she thinks about things. Just kind of want to express my gratitude for the blessing that is my wonderful wife. Today I want to talk about, not necessarily, this moment. What's on my mind right now is something I talked about recently. Hey, boys. No, you're cool.
He keeps saying efficiency won't be.
It's all right. Hey. Shh. All right. So, if you followed my previous channel, it's now no longer my name, Corey Bayless. It's actually Bayless Boys. And so I hope y'all tune in there. If you've already subscribed to that channel and now you're just following me here as well, then thank you for your love and support. Thank you for riding with me. But you would have heard that I've talked about creativity is chaos. Creativity is chaos. Okay, so this is something that I gave a shout out on my other channel to my homeboy Carlos Rios. If you have not tuned into his podcast, please do so. It is on it's on Spotify. I think it's on iTunes. Not sure where else, but it is on Spotify, 100%. That's where I listen to it. I tune in on Spotify. It's Carlos Rios is all ears. It's really good. But anyways, one of the things that I talked to him about actually after I was featured on his podcast was something I got to talk to him about was the following week. There was another guest that he had, and off the top of my mind, I can't recall. But they were talking about how things were just, they were talking about music and as they were building and trying to write music. And Carlos was talking about how he'll just record all kinds of stuff and then go back later and evaluate like, hey, did I really compose something good or not? Is this worth keeping and elaborating on? Or, do I need to go back to the drawing board? Carlos is incredibly smart. He's very well versed in, composition and just understanding how music works. He does a lot of stuff for video games too, which is super cool. As an old school gamer, I'm not as much of a new school gamer as my younger boys. They get all into it, and at some point I'd like to get into it with them just to, play with them and be able to have some fun and get into some of the newer games. But anyways, as an old school gamer, I always love the stuff that Carlos does. He's really great. But he's also done multiple podcasts, and I was very honored that he invited me on his newest podcast venture, and that's the one I spoke about. Carlos Rios is all ears. And when he was talking to someone about the different levels of way he composes music and the way he'll start to work on something and just feel it out and see how it goes and how it gets really chaotic and stuff. I told him this really spoke to me. There was a guy I worked with years ago when I was doing contract business labor. And what I did was I would help him. He had his own at-home eBay business. He was good at making money, to say the least. He was really good at making money, and he was good at finding great deals. Like, he could find anything. And he was really great at it. And it was really cool because, so watching him work, but he was a mess. He was a super big mess. And that was a big conflict because he would always tell me like, he was like, you know, he would call me Rain Man. And it was, you know, very big compliment. But I also knew where he was coming from. Like, I would go in there and help him organize his inventory, right? I'd reorganize his, you know, room. And he had multiple rooms in his house. I think at the time he had a 5-bedroom house, and 2 of the rooms and the garage.
I don't need 31 chests.
Nah, that's not right. One of the rooms and the garage and a closet and then a storage unit down the street is where he had all his inventory. He had so much stuff. It was just mind-boggling how much stuff he had, and it really used to trip me out. Okay, so he had all this gear and inventory and merchandise and just random stuff that ultimately, some of it was just stuff that his family grew out of, and they're like, well, might as well sell it. We have a business. And a lot of it was mostly stuff that he went and found. And he would go to like thrift stores, Goodwills, pawn shops, yard sales. He would go everywhere, and he would always find like multiple things. Rarely ever went after one thing. He wanted to find multiples that he wanted. So that way he could just offer them this extremely low price, and they're like, I'm getting rid of all that. I guess it's a good deal. He used to joke with me about how he was able to haggle. He was like, you just got to be cute. And I always thought it was so funny. I was like, trying to say I'm not cute because I don't have that kind of skill. But he just had it in him. But the thing, logistically, to run his business, he was a mess. He could get inventory, he could sell inventory, he could make money, he could see value in stuff that other people maybe didn't see, that they overlooked, or they just didn't realize what they had. He could see it. He also was the one who taught me how to buy old Nintendo games, Super Nintendo games, Nintendo, Sega, that he would print out new labels. He would very gently, meticulously remove labels from gaming cartridges to replace the new labels, brand new labels. And old game, I mean, it was stuff that you would barely see little marks on the labels. And he was like, no. They got to look pristine when I sell them. That's how I get my, you know, bank. I mean, he was really skilled. But like I said, logistically, he didn't make sense. Logistically, he didn't even understand his own stuff. He would have all these things, all this inventory and everything, and he would be like, I don't know where anything is. I don't know how to list it, to find it, to sell it. It's like, he was like, I listed this amount right here, and I'm going to move it to that closet, and that's the only thing I'm going to list, you know. I remember one time he hired me to come down, and this is how it worked. He just hired me for contract labor, and basically I was available for whatever he needed. So I would list stuff, organize, sort, catalog, itemize, whatever I got to do to help him be more efficient and more productive and ultimately make more bank faster. He normally liked to just play it safe. He's like, I just want to work just enough to pay my bills, and then I'm not really worried. Because he always felt like I have all this inventory. I can always use it later. I can always sell it later. It's not like this ever has to end. Which, I mean, he's not really wrong. But I always felt like exactly that. He was doing just what he had to. But this was the guy who ultimately, working with him, got me into reselling myself and got me into eBay and things like that. I mean, he was the one who encouraged me to do it. And then I got really skilled, like logistically. I could handle, run, manage my business. Now, I didn't make the bank that he made. Like, he made twice what I made in a fraction of the work. But that's because his profit margins were huge. Because he could go in there and I kid you not, saw the man walk out of a yard sale for free. Like, he literally walked in with a piece of this big fitness, like, it was like this weird, like some kind of Pilates bench or something. It was weird. It was a piece of exercise equipment that I had never seen. And I had been with him off and on for a good 4 years. At least 6 years at that point. I had worked with him off and on over the years and helped him with different things. So when his bread and butter in the beginning was video games and exercise equipment. Video games, exercise, video games, exercise. Because that's what he knew. He was like, you sell what you know. which, I mean, that's an old school Buffett thing. You buy into what you know. You sell what you know. You buy into what you know. Don't get involved in something you don't understand. If you want to get involved in something you don't know it, take the time to get educated and understand it. You got to know where your money's at. You got to know where your money's going. Okay. So he came out with this piece of exercise equipment. And he was like, yeah, she was trying to sell it, but since she couldn't really move it out of the garage by herself, I told her that I would move it and I'd just take it off her hands. And so she said, sure. And I was like, sure? Like, I couldn't understand how he got stuff for free, but he did. He literally got stuff for free. He, of course, like I said, he swindled and he paid money for things. He, haggled. But he would literally walk out of things for free. I never had that skill. I could see what something's worth and I could make money off it. I could sell it, but I couldn't necessarily talk someone into giving it to me. And I couldn't talk someone into selling it for, half of what they were listing it for. Somehow he could do that. So his profit margins were huge. He made lots of bank, but like I said, he was always a mess. He would get to these things where he's like, he'd call me. I mean, I lived in Austin. He was living in San Antonio. And he would call me up and be like, hey, Corey, what's going on? I was like, hey, what's up, man? You sound a little stressed. He's like, yeah, man, I got this package going out today. I was like, it's going out today? Okay, so what's the problem? He's like, well, I don't know where it is. And I was like, well, what is it? And he's like, oh, well, it's, this Ford emblem, whatever, that, this. He would have the most random things. And whenever he would say it, it always trigger something, strike a chord in my mind. It was just like, I knew. I was like, okay, I can see that I listed that along with this, this, and this. So I listed all 4 of those things in the same day. And I remember getting them in the left-hand corner of the second bedroom. And he was just like, how do you know that stuff? I'm like, I don't know. I just made sense to me, because to me, when I went in there, like a lot of people have these mnemonics, what I'm saying, ways that they remember things. For me, it wasn't really mnemonics. It was just more like I knew in my head that I had to have a system. So I knew I listed this, and this. And why did I list those 4 things that day? Well, because I found them all in that corner and I went ahead and listed them together just because they were all together, even though there was really no rhyme or reason to that. And then other times I'd be like, oh, well, I listed all those together because they were all video game accessories. And I was just doing gaming accessories that day. So it just worked out. So it's kind of, it never really... It wasn't always the same thing, but I always had a way of remembering it, because I knew that I had to, because I knew that he didn't want to pay me for countless hours to really completely overhaul his inventory rooms. He didn't want to do that. And I respected that. It's his money. Spend it how he felt was reasonable, right?
I'm making a reasonable house.
But there needed to be some kind of system so we could know where his things were.
That's 64.
But he wanted me to go in there, find things to sell, picture list, clean up picture list, describe, get all that price, comps, all that stuff, and then move on to the next thing. He wanted me to keep moving and moving and moving, because any work that I was doing, he wanted to see cash flow from, which...
Where in the world am I?
Is definitely another thing that I need to talk about another day, and I promise you, we will get into cash flow, but... That's the thing, is like, he wanted that cash flowing, which mad props he got. He wrapped his head around the most vital and critical part of being in any business is cash flow. I don't care if you're in real estate. I don't care if you're reselling, if you're small time. I don't care if you're doing, investing in businesses, Shark Tank type, deals. I don't care what you're doing. Cash flow. If you do not have cash flow, it's all pointless. So he fundamentally understood that, and that was his main priority. And because that was his main priority, I saw the value in teaching him other skills, because there's the two things that most people struggle with. I've talked to Carlos about one of these things, because him and his wife, Katie, have mastered it. So the one thing that they've already got down that most people struggle with is money management. Nobody can save money. Oh man, you see it. People get money coming in, celebrities, lottery winners, athletes, musicians, all these people that get big contracts. People in even normal jobs. you know, like people get signed onto, hey, people get into big companies. A lot of them will have a sign-on bonus, a bonus for, you know, transportation because they're a huge firm and they can afford it and they need you because of your skill set. So, I mean, there's lots of ways that people come into, you know, big sums of money and they have nothing to show for it. They don't know how to manage it. They don't know how to think about it. And they don't know how to save or invest or prioritize where that money is going. So Carlos told me, he was like in the podcast, I hope y'all listened to it. If y'all didn't, go back and check it out. Your boy, like I said, I'm there. I believe I'm in episode 3. Go check it out. If you don't, if it's not episode 3, I apologize. But like I said, all the episodes are good, not just the one with me. Because Carlos is incredible. But one of the things me and Los talked about, we was talking about the idea, how him and his wife over the years have been working on just developing the skill of saving and managing their money. And he said to him, making money is more challenging than saving it. Most people can make it and can't save it. I told him, I was like, he's ahead of the curve then. Because when we look at the world and we see all these people around us making stacks, and, you know, you relocate as, you know, him and his wife have done, and you relocate, you're developing your business, things like that. It never seems like there's enough cash. Never does. But you see all these people and they're like, oh, well, they got it. They got this figured out. No, you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. Making money, there's always money to be made. There's always money to be made. There's just so much money out there. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do, because I want to give tips and feedback and commentary to help people develop their business, develop their lives, get them placed into a more motivational, positive mentality, a better all-around atmosphere so they can grow and develop their life, their future, and their business. Get your affairs in order and get that bankroll growing. And the reason, like I said, the reason I do this is because I'm not ever concerned like, oh, if I give them a tip, that, see, people have that mentality. If I tell someone else what I'm investing in, then maybe they'll invest into it too. Yeah, you want them to. First of all, when it comes to stock and crypto and things like that, the more people they invest, the more value that's there. Yeah, people don't like to talk about that, but that's what it is. The more people that invest, the more valuable it becomes. Secondly, you want them to invest because you want them to make money. Why do you not want people to be successful? We want people to be successful. I want you to be successful, every single one of you. And I want me to be. And I want me to be successful. And those two dudes over there, I want them successful. This is the thing. It's like there's plenty of it to go around. And there's plenty to be made. There's plenty to be had. And there's plenty for us to go get. All right. Like I said, when I looked at the way my particular client ran his business, there was chaos. And he used to say, I remember, he like I said, he worked from home. And his wife would occasionally, she'd pick at him just a little bit when I was there because she thought it was funny. And because she thought maybe that if I said something, he wasn't going to listen to me. If he wasn't going to listen to her, he wasn't listening to me. But that's what my job was. That's what I was there for, was to help him get things in order, to be some extra hands to get things moving, and to also give him my opinion. My opinion. I don't want to say expert opinion, because these modern days, everybody thinks they're an expert. I'm not going to claim myself to be an expert, but I know what I'm talking about. I do. I've done this for a hot minute and I'm good at it. I'm good at helping people figure out what they're not doing in their business. I'm good at helping people figure out what they're doing right and what they need to change and how they need to alter things. I'm good at seeing what's missing. I can look at different companies and see what's missing. And that's what I want to help people do. But like I said, back to this client and back to my initial thought when I started this whole thing, creativity is chaos. Look where I'm at, man. I'm in an Airbnb. I am literally in Oregon. I have no... It's Airbnb. Prior to this Airbnb, if y'all have been tuning into my channel, y'all know that I've been living hotel life. Me and these boys and Kimberly, our family of 4. living in
It's
hotels.
so hard to live in a hotel.
Oh man, it's been challenges, man. Them doing their schoolwork on the road. Me growing and developing my business and my brand on the road. These guys developing handles for themselves online, developing a platform for themselves. They want to be known as well. They're 7 and 8 already made their first investment. They're already invested into the stock market. They're already Corey is determined that next month he's going to work on growing his first business. He wants to do art. Incredible. Colton wants to continue to invest more. He wants to grow, and so does Corey, but this is something definitely Colton has been expressing a lot, that he just wants to grow more into his investments, and he wants to understand and learn and know more about what it is that Dad does. They've come up with challenges for our channel on the Bayless boys. Again, if you're not following me over there, you should be. If you haven't subscribed, do it now, and ding the bell, get your notifications, because the stuff is great. But they come up with challenges for us to do. They come up with ideas. Corey's been pushing me the last 2 days as I've been doing this 1,000 TikTok challenge. I saw a guy who did it himself.
Guys, you know how...
Hold on a second, buddy.
Sorry.
No, you're okay. You're okay. But it's something that I saw some other guy do and talk about how he grew his business this way. And so I chose to do this myself. And then Corey's jumped in on it and continued to, encourage me, check me each day, and say, oh, you getting this done? How are you going to do this? Come here, Corey. It's okay. Come here. What's up, buddy?
You know how we did I've been coming up with a lot of challenges. You know how we did last night? We did the Dorito challenge. That was my idea.
That's right. And as you see,
coming up with challenges.
That's right. And as you see, I'm doing this right here, right now, with my boys here. I've been able to pull off my first five videos on my new channel. And I've waited till the boys were asleep, or I got up early in the morning, or I stepped outside for one of them. But I've managed to do those other ones. But right now, they're right here with me. And like I said, it is New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, I got now an hour and a half. I've got an hour and a half till midnight. I got my boys here. We're in an Airbnb. Unfortunately, Kimberly's at work. And right now, what am I doing? I'm laying down new content for you. I'm laying new content down. If this situation, we are literally, we went out on the road thinking we were going to be back home before school started. We are literally doing homeschool through a online Christian-based STEM academy. They've got 8 to 9 subject lessons a day on top of a Bible study every day. Meanwhile, I'm growing this brand. I'm developing 2 channels. I've hired a manager now who, a man, is doing an incredible job. If y'all like what y'all see here and y'all need you want a manager, you need somebody to do some editing for you, things like that, help you promote your channel, leave a comment below. I'll hit you with his contact information. Y'all can reach out to him. He's really great. Great deals, great product, great work. Incredible guy. But we're doing all of this while I'm continuing to try. Me and Kimberly are, doing a debt payoff plan. She's working crazy hours at the facility, at the rehab facility right now. She was working at vaccine clinics. Right now, she's at a rehab facility. But yeah, like Corey just said, she's working 12-hour shifts. She's working overnight.
It's really hard for her.
We've got a couple that are, kind of around the corner, but she's working days. But it's the only couple, Morgan and Kev, that are our friends out here who really don't. This is chaos. This is chaos. I mean, this is as chaotic as it gets. This is just crazy and wild. And we've been able to see mountains, waterfalls, rivers. The boys climbed a mountain. Kimberly, we climbed a mountain. We've done so many things. We've gone on hikes.
Me and Colton literally almost got to be inside a waterfall.
Totally did. Walked behind a waterfall and then walked right up to the water. Almost got into it. Yeah, it's been. Check out Bayless Boys YouTube channel, and you can see all of it. We film everything, put everything on here. This adventure has been so chaotic, but amidst all of this, during all the chaos, everything that's been going down, during all of this, I'm continuing to create new content for y'all. I've got papers with notes of all kinds of stuff that where we're taking the business, where we're taking the company, what new content are we going to go with next. The boys are coming up with ideas, and I write them down so I can think about them later. We're working on logos. We're working on merch. We're looking into how we can branch out our business, how we can further expand our brand. How we can expand on our investment portfolio. Where me and Kimberly are planning for when we get back to Texas. We're busy, spent a good portion of the evening today before she had to head into the facility. We were planning our next moves. While we're on this adventure, what's the next move? This is chaos. This is chaos. Amidst all of this, your boy's been writing again. I've been writing on a level that, I've always been a writer. I've always loved writing. I've always loved creating. I've always loved, just old school putting pen to pad, you know what I'm saying? But since being on the road, since being me and Kimberly had that, distance for a moment while she had to hit the road before we did. And I finished up the boys' end of the year last year. And then when we hit the road with her in the summer, this fire of creativity has been in me. I'm so excited about everything that's happening. I'm so excited to be writing. I'm so excited to be speaking with y'all. Chaos is creativity. See, before I said creativity is chaos. And creativity is chaos.
What is chaos?
Chaos is when it's crazy, when it doesn't make sense, when things are everywhere. But see, chaos is creativity also. All of this chaos put me in a new place. Yeah. I reference a lot of scripture, and I reference a lot of hip hop. It's just something that's ingrained in who I am, And I think about Wayne. There was a time when Lil Wayne he had gone to jail, and when he got out of jail, he was so determined to stay out of trouble that he literally went to the studio, and he kept himself in the studio like constantly. He was always there. People would be down the hall in a different little studio, different little recording room, and they'd be in there and they'd be like, "Oh man, this song is great, but it needs a feature. It needs a feature. It needs a feature." And so they'd go like, "Who's here? We don't have time to call anybody, blah, blah, blah." And he ended up featured on so many smash hits because he was just never left the studio. He would just hit the booth and just keep spitting all day long, just spitting. And it was just incredible the way he did that. Just that idea to have that kind of that kind of creativity and that kind of just drive. That's where I'm at. And I just keep spitting, and we'll see when it all gets laid down, you know what I mean? Chaos is creativity. For the last 2 years, we've dealt with, it's been almost 3, it's been 2.5 years now. Over 2.5 years, we have dealt with a pandemic. We have dealt with an election year. We have dealt with all this chaos in our society. We've dealt with riots again, which it had been a good a good while since we had a lot of riots all over the country. Thank God. But we've had riots again. We've had all these things happening in our nation. We've had all these things happening all over the place that have kept things really chaotic. You see things in the stock market. You see things all over the place. You see that, you see people saying things in the media, in social media, on your Facebook, in little news feeds. The reality is you don't even know who to trust anymore. You don't know which sources are credible. And it takes so much time and effort to find who's credible. So you kind of got to just kind of go with it and say, oh, well, what he said sounds like it makes sense. I don't know. Billy's never lied to me before. That's kind of just where you're at. That's where all of us have been for a good while. And I feel like me and Kimberly have had to take a step back and say, we don't need to know everything that's going on right now. We don't need that global fatigue that's bringing our bodies down, ourselves down, and just becoming an overall hindrance. We just need to take a step back and just a breather from all of that. But there's an old saying, and one of my business partners, Z, and brother of mine, Z hits me up all the time and he says, don't forget, millionaires are born out of recessions. But why? They are. It's true. Absolutely true. Why? Because during that pit, while we're in that hole, while we're down here, while everybody's trying to figure out, what's going on? Why is it like this? While everybody is sitting here jumping this side and that side, trying to, claw and scrape their way out of that hole, that the nation, the world, the whatever, while everybody's trying to do that, it's the guy that's going to think differently, that says, all right, we've been doing things one way and they haven't worked. Let's do it that way right there. That's the new answer. And that's what it is. When people are innovative, creative, ambitious, and willing to go after it. So I want to leave y'all with that. Like I said, chaos is creativity. Go back and check out my channel, Bayless Boys. There's 2 videos that are within the last couple months. And they both talk about creativity being chaos. And now I want to talk about chaos being creativity. So go check those out. See what y'all think. Be sure you subscribe to the channel while you're there. Be sure you subscribe to this one. Ding your bell and get your notifications. Stay tuned. I got a lot more coming at y'all. Like I said, it's New Year's Eve. I hope y'all have had a good evening. I hope whatever you've done, you've been safe. You get to be with someone you loved. I just wish y'all very blessed closing to 2022. And I wish nothing more than a fiery passion in the pit of your stomach for 2023. I want you to be excited. I want you to be just burning to get out there and make it happen. So y'all level up. Let's get it done. Throughout all this chaos that we see in the world today, throughout whatever's going on in your life, in your world, let's rise above all that. Let's rise above all that. Let's go after it. Let's get it with everything we've got. That's all I'm asking for. All you've got. All you've got. All right. It's your boy, Corey B. Happy New Year. Let's head into 2023, baby. Till next time, I'm out.